Now, Nigeria's President Bola Tinubu has declared a state of emergency on food security. It's in response to the rising cost of foodstuff. Special advisor to the president, Dele Alake, announced measures to reverse inflation and ensure future supplies of affordable food. State House correspondent Adesua Omonwa reports.
It is no longer news that Nigerians are grappling with high cost of food items. While availability is not an issue, it has become increasingly difficult for many to afford the hiking prices. The president's decision to remove subsidy on fuel has further aggravated an already precarious situation. To reverse the trend, President Bola Tinubu has declared a state of emergency on food security and announced a series of initiatives aimed at ensuring uninterrupted supplies of affordable foods for ordinary Nigerians. Among the key interventions are the immediate release of fertilizers and grains to farmers and households to mitigate the effects of subsidy removal, while the central bank will continue to play a pivotal role in funding the agricultural value chain.
Accordingly, and in line with this administration's position on ensuring that the most vulnerable are supported, the President has declared with immediate effect the following actions. 1, a state of emergency on food security. 2, that all matters pertaining to food and water availability and affordability as essential livelihood items be included within the purview of the National Security Council. As with most emergencies, there are immediate, medium, and long-term interventions and solutions. In the immediate term, this government intends to deploy some savings from the fuel subsidy removal into the agricultural sector, focusing on revamping the agri sector.
The message is that middlemen who have kept all these grains, because we'll be releasing everything we have in stock. So the message is that middlemen and those who are storing these things to create arbitrage and get profits, this is the best time to release it quickly, because once we release those paddy and the maize that the central bank has, your prices will be depressed.
In addition, the government plans to establish a national commodity board that will monitor and regulate food prices, ensuring fair pricing for consumers.
Through this board, government will moderate spikes and dips in food prices. As for storage, existing warehouses and tanks will be revamped to cut waste and ensure efficient preservation of food items. This government says it's going to do away with the old ways of livestock business. So livestock business is holistic, whether herders, grazers, whatever.
Efforts to facilitate trade and increase revenue from food and agricultural exports are also highlighted. The government aims to streamline customs processes and reduce transportation costs, benefiting both producers and consumers. With these interventions, the government hopes to not only address the immediate crisis, but also create employment opportunities in the agricultural sector. However, Nigerians eagerly await to see the implementation of these initiatives, hopeful they will bring more affordable food items for them. From the presidential villa, Adesua Omoruan, Arise News.
Dayo Sobowale, Arise News analyst, now joins us to take a look at the declaration of a state of emergency on food security by President Tinubu and measures needed to ensure success of the policies. Good to have you again on Newsday, sir.
Pleasure. Yes, you are welcome.
Thank you.
So, in hindsight, why didn't previous administrations see the need for a state of emergency on food security despite Boko Haram attacks, the farmer herders tussle every now and then in the north and elsewhere, impacting on food security, and it took this action now?
Well, let's thank God this action is being taken now, because if we go back to that, we'll lose sight of what we are about to discuss now. They say an army marches on its stomach. The same thing for a nation. You see, healthy food are happy and appreciate life. The healthy people are happier and appreciate life better and are less angry. Now, there's another saying, an hungry dog does not play with a well-fed dog. So I'm happy with what he has done. And although somewhere here, I mentioned when I saw the killings in Benue State, Plateau, I said that should be a state of emergency. But look at what he has done. In one fell swoop, he has attacked food security and general insecurity. Because Benue State is the food basket of Nigeria. That's why we have the largest yam, cassava, potatoes, mangoes, and so on being taken. All the farmlands are there. Now, this president has said, Harding, this herdsmen driving cattle all over the place, that ranching will take place now. And they will take military people to protect the farmlands. So in a way, it is food security and general insecurity being taken on in one go. That is commendable, provided it is implemented to the letter, because that is really what we need. And then he mentioned food affordability, availability, and pricing. But you see, they noted available. You go to our markets, you see potato, you see food. They are available, but they are not affordable. They will put high prices on there. Look, go to any market, but anywhere, you see ripe food, but they are at high prices. So they will set up commodity boards. They will set up pricing units to monitor this thing. You see, once you have food security, and in a way, I don't think food security is as bad as the killings of people. They have to secure the farmlands. And if they start from Plateau and Benue, they guarantee those. I mean, the rest of the country will feel safer.
Indeed. Now, Mr. Sobowale, when it comes to the major threats to food security in Nigeria, experts have said that it's three issues, which is climate change, economic development, and violent conflict. From what was outlined by Dele Alake, do you think that all these three areas are being addressed and will be addressed?
That was precisely what I just said.
Yes, but
we cannot control
what about the climate change bit?
The climate, I mean, that's why he said we have to organize all year-round farming. We cannot go on with seasonal farming. So that food will be available all the year round. You see, I will even go further. When I was talking, I said, look, we could look. Okay, I had in mind states like Benue and Plateau, and some states in the north who have peculiar products. You get me? Like rice and so on. They can swap with other states where there is shortage and move on those. When they have the commodity boss, I'm sure they will be able to look at that. You get me? So food, the supply chain will be such that we have food all the year round. With regard to climate, except to prepare for floods and those things that destroy farmlands and so on, there's not much we can do except to see if you can. If geologists can help, geographers can help us predict the trend of the seasons and the climate, maybe we can only prevent the havoc. We can minimize it, but you cannot. If you know a river flows at a particular time, there's not much you can do. But you get out of its way, you get me, or find a way to channel it. They have set up irrigation boards and so on, to liaise together. So to me, it's a step in the right direction. What I will even add now is that sometime ago when I was in the bank, we had a Greek credit guarantee scheme, which gives loans to farmers at subsidized rates all over the country. If we can revive that, because I think it was discontinued because people thought we had enough food. But now, because of the disturbances in the supply chain, in food baskets, there's shortage of food.
All right, Mr. Sobowale, the president also mentioned the National Commodity Board, as you also alluded to earlier. So, to review food prices and all that. But in the old days, we used to have an agricultural marketing board, in the 60s and the 70s. So these are not actually new ideas. So what happened to those initiatives over time?
Monoproduct. When oil came, we forgot all those. You remember, we used to, the groundnut pyramids of Kano, cocoa, and all over the country. You know, we were export-oriented. But since we discovered oil, the cost of oil made us to forget all those. That's why we are suffering now. But luckily, we still have states like Benue, which are fertile lands, Plateau, which are fertile lands. So we should not have people disturbing them from supplying food to us.
If
they take military people to secure the farmlands, we'll have more food.
Well, are you content with what the Dela Lake mentioned, whereby the money that was saved from the subsidy removal would be diverted or channeled towards this?
Of course, why not? Anything, but this is not a matter of money. This is a matter of management now. And the deployment of resources and securing the farms, securing the source of the food value chain. You get me?
Yeah.
From terrorists, nomadic, and kidnappings.
But I'm still going to ask you on the issue of security. Don't you think the security network right now is a little bit stretched thin? They're engaged in banditry, trying to curb banditry, Boko Haram every now and then.
Are we fighting a war?
How
we are not fighting a war.
Yeah, I know. How feasible? Yeah, it's our own within our territorial integrity. But
look, they re-strategize. They have just come on board. But you read the papers, you see, that's why I said there should be an emergency in Benue Plateau. You get me? But if you read if you read the lips of this president, what he's saying is that he's deploying people there. Without saying it, without mentioning any state. But if you secure the farmlands, you know where the farmlands are. You know where the sources of food supply are. So you have to secure them. So it means it's up to the military now. Look at it. Those killing people, they are driving people away from their farmlands. They are kidnapping people. They are taxing people in villages and so on. Exactly. And they say they come from across the country. Let's deploy the security forces to those areas and secure them. Yes. There's no outside aggressor after us. It's internal problem. So we have to secure, and that is what the military forces are there for.
Just curious, Mr. Sobowale, what would be your advice in terms of how this should be approached? Since you're talking about security, should the president be considering negotiating with these terrorists, or should it just be
I don't like that idea. Don't just mention it to me. We have discussed. I don't like it. We are trying to secure our farmlands. So you want us to go and to negotiate before we secure our food sources? I find it abominable. I tell you, it's not an idea I want to consider.
But if you look at it, Mr. Sobowale, all this should have been done if there's a political will to do it. For this one, yes, briefly, please.
Okay, briefly. Yeah. But you know the last regime now.
Yeah.
You know the sympathy of the last president. The last president once said if he was not sent to war college,
yes,
he would have been a Fulani husband. So having said that, you know that he had empathy. Get me? And then you want to rake in the issue of religion now. These are fundamentalists, and those fighting them somewhat belong to the same religion with them.
Yes.
And they say, you remember Gumi? They said Gumi to go and negotiate with, like Cynthia is trying to say, with them, and he said they had every right to do what they are doing. No, let's secure our farmlands. An army marches on the stomach. A nation too should march on the stomach.
Well, thank you for feeding our brains. All right, Senior Analyst, Mr. Dayo Sobowale, thank you so much for your time and analysis as always.